Here.
Deborah Johnston.
Here.
Bill Lukens.
Here.
Larry Pratt.
Here.
Craig Romey.
Present.
Caitlin Turner. Here. And no, Caitlin's by phone.
Yes, Caitlin's by phone, so everything will be roll call tonight. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, excuse me, as always, if you have a conflict of interest before you vote on it, please let the rest of the council know. Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion? Missy, would you call the roll, please?
Call out last names. Burris.
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romey.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the April 6th council meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 6th council meeting.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Burris.
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romey.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. Need a motion on the bills in between.
Make a motion to approve bills in between for $158,371.58. Second the motion.
Discussion? Roll call?
Burris.
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romey.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. Motion on the current claims.
Make a motion to approve current claims for $70,345.60.
Second.
motion.
Ooh, everybody.
Discussion?
I've got a question, Misty. Like on these vehicles like W13, I know it's water department, but is there any way we could put what vehicle it is? I don't know what.
How about I give you the list? How about I send you the list of those and then you can just reference it? It gets to be a lot of words to pay to publish if we do that. So I'll give you the vehicle and equipment list that identifies each one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Burris.
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romey.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. Communications from the public. Wally, are you with us? Need to let you know that we have a 7:10 public hearing. So you've got about 7 minutes until we get to that. And then after that, you can certainly continue speaking if you need
I
to.
thought I'd be out. All right, that's fine. I coming one more time from the council people to approve to extend the package for the play and stay. If we have more people in the town, they bring in more taxes, they bring in more people to spend the money in a restaurant, every place. So if we have a package which one allowed to have a people which one stay in the overnight who spend the money already, they have a free half a price for the golf and half a price for the events Plunge. That'd be big draw for during the advertising. So I asking you to approve something like that so we can bring in more people to the town and bring in more money. If they spend more money, city gonna make more money too. And half a price, events Plunge give also hour before the closing. And they give them to free next day. So that's a little extended more hours. Because the people don't checking in at 11 o'clock in the morning, they checking usually 2, 3, 4 o'clock afternoon. So that's up to you, council. Would you want to do it? If you want to bring in more people to the town or not? Any question?
I see you're developing a phone app. When do you plan on that being operational?
Tomorrow we have a meeting with the bid and we're gonna approve that one and they're gonna go, well, John, what, about a few days, maybe a week, should go. And
Wally?
that's what you want to put that one on also.
Wally,
Yes.
you said that you had talked to Misty about this, given the numbers and everything.
Yep.
Misty, could you explain that a little bit?
I would probably refer you to the excellent letter that Wally wrote describing what he's
Yeah,
looking
but
for.
I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Well, it's 50% of what our current admission is.
Right.
That's what he's requesting, is that all people who stay in hotels,
Yeah, they gotta have a registration card and they're gonna say how many adults, how many kids.
that they receive 50% off of the regular admission to attend that Evans Plunge.
Okay, it was just my interpretation that she had crunched the numbers and was able to.
There's no way to do that. We
Yeah.
have no idea how many people are going to use that. So I'm sorry, I can't estimate that for
Yeah,
you. And
because
if
we
I
don't
were, I'd be
know.
making it up.
We
So
don't know how many people are going to come through the summer versus the COVID right now. So something to think about too. But
So we are already offering this for the golf course.
Yes,
And do we have any numbers as to how many people took advantage of that last year? What that money wise might have come to?
at the golf course.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I could get you that data. I'm just not sure how,
Apples to apples.
yeah.
Well, I'm just kind of wondering about numbers. Yeah.
I don't know. I personally think it's a good idea. I think the more we can attract people and get them to stay here maybe an extra day. Because if they swim once, most people, they might come back and swim again another day and pay full price. Because we know how it wasn't overwhelmed last year.
yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, Wes, because would this be a one night, like if they were staying 5 nights,
so they should be every night.
it would be every night that
Yes.
they're in the motel?
It's the same thing like they say for the golf course. If they stay 2 nights, they can get 2 everyday play, not
Okay.
the same day, two games, no, but the everyday 24 hours, next time you have a price.
With the hopes that they had so much fun that they're going to come back in 2 weeks and do it all again.
Or, if they stay now one night, everybody can make money, including city on
Right.
taxes. Because they're gonna go eat something, they're gonna spend the money in a gas station, store,
Right.
maybe go to buy some liquor. So everything's go to the one pile, the city budget.
What's the average taxes that go on to a hotel room each night?
9%.
That goes to the city?
No.
2% goes to the city? So
That golf course package, is that every night that they stay at a motel, they get half off of it?
Yep.
It is.
They have a registration, they can go in this and play one more time.
Well, I'd like to see something like this, just for the fact is the plunge, we need to get that back going again.
What, can I ask what the Plunge Advisory Committee recommended?
Well, I got a letter here from Chris that was handed me by Mr. Gregory. Did you want to read it? Greg, you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to put a bug in the ear before Monday night's council meeting that I am not in favor of 50% off admissions to those who stay in Hot Springs Lodging. As mentioned at EPAC, we do not know what our capacity limits will be for summer at this point in time. I don't have proof that Wally is representing the bid board. Likely someone from CH would have attended any meetings where that would have been discussed, and it devalues EPMS. The Plunge. We are not here to provide Wally with an alternative for not opening his pool. Folks who want to come to the Plunge will come regardless of whether he is open or they get that large of a discount. And that's from Chris.
I can open the pool, it's no problem. I probably gonna keep it open.
Not a problem, sir.
No.
I hear you, Wally. And you're
Five people rest this Plunge, they're her choice.
right,
She
exactly.
care about the business, she should care about the business.
And you're representing the bid board in this
Yes.
presentation, aren't you, Wally?
Yes, sir.
And the other lodging establishments,
It was favor to it. I talked to Stay USA, Baymont. Econo Lodge was kind of, they don't know what's going on over here. And Vicky from the American Best Value was also favored.
Okay, Wally,
Yes, sir.
we just went past our 7:10 public hearing, so if you give them an opportunity, we'll get right back to you. All right. So we have a 7:10 public hearing, temporary alcoholic beverage license applications. 2 from Hot Springs Rotary Club to be used at Centennial Park on 6/25/21 through 6/27/21 for the Main Street Arts and Crafts Festival, and on 7/3/21 for the 4th of July Street Dance. Is there anybody here from the Rotary Club that would like to address this? Is there anybody from the public who has any concerns about it? Any questions from the council?
Nice to see things happening again.
Yes, it is.
All right, anybody else from the public?
I have no issue with it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:12. And can I get a motion to either approve, disapprove, or table the request for 2 temporary alcoholic beverage licenses
I'll make a
from the Rotary
motion.
Club?
Sorry, I didn't pick it up.
No, go ahead.
Make a motion to vote on the Rotary Club beverage license application for the dates of 4th of July Street Dance and Arts and Crafts Festival, which is this one, 6/25 through 6/27.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Curtis,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Luken.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right, the motion passes. Wally, you're back up.
Well, when I was on a meeting with the Evans Plunge, I explained them, and when I talked to you, Mayor, also, when you pre-buy the punch card for the businesses, Evans Plunge give them 60% discount. So if I ask for 10% less, is a problem? Does anybody know how to count? That's up to you. What do you want to do it over here? I try to bring it more people to the town. More people to the town. That's the second biggest industry in the town, in the state, tourism. So we're a little further from the geographical, from the event, from Mammoth side, Custer State Park and Crazy Horse. So we gotta invite them with something different. Water is one of our priority. Give him a chance. Try it for 1 year, see how it works.
Did you, Wally, did you talk to Chris at all over this?
Oh, yeah, we talk over there on that one, on a meeting.
Did she give you any more information as far as why she's, or why they're against it?
Go.
Chris's biggest concern was the COVID numbers. If there's a restriction from CDC about how many people she can actually have in there. Last year, that was a big deal because her numbers were so limited, she couldn't even have observers come in because of the cap on the number of people. The direction we're going now, it doesn't look like that kind of cap's going to happen, but she was still somewhat concerned.
Wouldn't all the, even if we say we approve this, wouldn't all that still be in place? It's not, I wouldn't say it's the community or the city's fault that they couldn't get in there because they were packed.
I guess the only thing I'd point out as the finance officer is that this facility has, excuse me, $1.28 million in debt against it. And that would be a concern if you were turning away full price admission people because of your capacity limits to allow for half price. That's the difference, I guess I see between the plunge and the golf course, is they're not carrying a load of debt that they have to pay off. I'm not for or against the 50%, but that's something I'd point out to you in your decision making.
Well, that don't even factor in mine because I know the whole situation with the plunge. So
If we're giving 50% off for the golf course, is that talking about tournaments? Just
No, I don't believe so.
No.
There
How
are
does that
limited
work out there?
times that can be done during the play day when they schedule their tee time. So it's not, and you can't use it at tournaments. They have different rates for tournaments.
It'd be strictly for open golf,
Yeah.
regular play when there isn't a tournament or anything else going on.
So how's that work? If you golf round, you get a free pass at the Plunge, 50% off or so? How's that work?
No, it'd be if you stayed at a hotel,
In the hotel, you get,
they allow you 50% off of your play at the golf course. if
Okay.
You show a receipt from,
but it's not towards the Plunge.
no, this would be
No.
a separate.
Just
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
But to that question, since stay and play has been part of the conversation, I went ahead and went to the city's golf course website. And on the website, we're currently advertising a stay and play package. Staying in the Hot Springs area, show us your proof of stay receipt at any participating Hot Springs hotel, motel, campground, and you can golf 18 holes for the price of 9, which Wally is saying, half price off Evans Plunge. So as far as campgrounds, participating accommodations include all hotel, motel, campgrounds within city limits, and Hot Springs, KOA, Allen Ranch, Kemosabe Campground, and Angostura. And the city often advertises the plunge and the golf course together when we're trying to get people to come in. So the stay and play package, as Wally had said, is 50% off, showing a proof of stay receipt at any participating Hot Springs hotel, motel, or campground. So that's currently being advertised on the city's golf course webpage.
How much do we owe on the golf course?
So we owe on our parks.
And we really should have just paid for them. We really shouldn't have borrowed no money for those, but that's another subject. I mean, it's just like the plunge. There's really no reason we can't be paying a lot of that debt down right now, but we choose to pay interest.
I would disagree.
Well, we have some money in a bank, so I don't understand we're paying interest on something when we have money. I know there's different funds. I don't know. I think we should try it for a year. We all seen how the plunge is, it's not doing better. It's not. I mean, so if we can do something to try to get people kind of re-excited about it, turn it around. I mean,
Last year really doesn't count, but the year before was doing better.
Well, and you look at the media right now, the shots going around, people are getting out. I mean, every time I drive by by the plunge, that place is cranking almost every day, except for Tuesdays, or days when it's closed. So, I mean, if the numbers are going to start going up, I mean, you got to take a gamble. I agree with you, Wes. Got to try it out and see.
If we can do something for not only our own plunge, but also something that will help draw people into our businesses, I think it's a win-win for us.
And I concur. These people are itching to get out there. I'm one of them. I want to get out and do more stuff.
So when does the Plunge stay open all day long?
They're looking at the 1st of May as they're going back to full-time summer hours.
So in order to act on this, I guess we need an agenda item to do this.
Yep.
Nothing's easy.
May I ask you something? Whose decision it's, how many people can get to the plunge right now?
CDC guidelines are what the plunge is following right now.
Well, you go to Rapid City, it's no more restriction, no more mask. How many people you want to be in the pool, they have it. So why is the Evans Plunge have a different restriction than neighbors cities?
I couldn't answer that question.
That city put out a mask mandate. We did not.
So we've taken the stance as a city that will follow CDC guidelines. So as those guidelines allow us to open up more, we will. If-
Rapid City did.
Well, I don't know what Rapid City's ordinances are, but again, we've taken the stance that we'll follow CDC guidelines. So we can take a look at those. And John has already said that the advisory board is looking at May 1st to open up.
As far as that's concerned, Fall River County currently has 4,621 has moderate community spread with eight active cases and 3.5% positivity rate going on right now.
So we are the lowest one in the state. We are lower in the state. One of the lowest ones.
According to what it looks like here. Yeah.
Well, I guess I would ask that this item be put on the next agenda for the council to vote, yes or no.
And I agree with you.
I agree.
That's what I was just going to say. That's the only way for us to know what we
Move
want to
forward
do.
or not.
And
I
if
concur.
Chris is really concerned, then during the working days, she can get a hold of us. Let us know what her concerns are. I know Misty's already kind of informed us some of it.
Thanks, Wally.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it, Wally.
Thanks, Wally.
Thank you, Wally. So Misty, you have a note? Put on the agenda. Anyone else from the public that would like to address the council? All right, takes us to our council updates. Library quarterly report. Don?
Well, good evening, and I'm glad that everyone's here and you all look healthy and well. I'd like to start out my report. I have quite a few things to talk about. Things are picking up at the library. I'd like to start out with the COVID issue and report that I have 100% compliance with my staff as far as getting a COVID shot. It was never demanded that they do it, but I am excited that maybe the public will feel more comfortable and safer there if it'll be known that, you know, we're following CDC guidelines, because our point is we want people to come in and use their public facilities and feel safe there. I think that we have a group of mothers with preschoolers that feel perfectly comfortable there. Our Thursday morning story time is anywhere between 40 and 45 people in the room. So
Is that the one room or the whole facility?
that's in that one room. We open doors, we make room, we're trying to expand, but the population goes up and down. And next year, those 40 kids are going to be not in lap sit. They're in the Thursday class. They're going to be in the Friday class. And then the year after that, they're all going to school. And our Friday class only has 4 kids in it. So they're all at a certain age, but we are just swamped with Thursday story time kids. And we're very excited that the parents feel comfortable bringing their children there and spending time there after story time's over and having, you know, get together time and sharing. So we're excited that our library is coming back as a community gathering place. And on that note, we had our spring poetry gathering on April 9th. We're proud to say we once again had a record-breaking turnout, a couple more each time. We're up to 25 people. It was a couple hours long. We had, it's a nice little family that comes there. We only see each other once every 6 months or so. So it's really nice to get together and visit. We talked about the deaths, births, marriages, travels, lack of travels. The poems covered all different topics and all different genres. Very enjoyable, and they're looking forward to the one for this fall. Our book barn is open in full force. They've been organizing, they've been reinforcing, they've been labeling. It's generally speaking, it's only on a Friday and a Saturday that they have it. This year, they've added a Tuesday evening to the program. This is all the opportunities you have to visit the book barn this year. You can go to our Facebook page. There's a copy of this. And we always post a notice that, or you come in and pick up a copy of this. And we always have a notice posted the day before that there's going to be a book burn sale. So we're excited that the Friends of the Library are keeping that up to date and quality books that you can pick up. I'd like to thank the city for these last few snowstorms we have. We never know whether we're going to get 2 inches or 14 inches. And they afforded the library the opportunity to go home early a couple of Tuesday nights ago when they were starting to close roads. So we got an hour and a half of administrative leave, and my staff really appreciates that we could get home. It's a late night. It's a 7:30 night. So we were glad that we could get home before the weather got too terrible. I believe that the next day, some of the city offices were closed. My staff felt that it wasn't necessary that they stay home that day. So we were open for business on that Wednesday, and it was a very busy day. On the program you all approved for me to go to Pier, it was nice to go and visit to talk to my peers at Pier. The topic of conversation was toward gigabyte libraries. And it found it very relevant because the state library has just received with the 2020 COVID funding, over $2 million that they're going to give out in grants for technical upgrades in the state of South Dakota. And the worksheet or the program you went to is actually a toolkit, a workbook you go through to identify what technology you have in your library, how old it is, how well it's working, and then be able to make educated decisions on what needs replaced and what needs fixed and what needs updated. So I'm hoping to get that done here during the month of May, because I'm not sure when those COVID funds are going to open up or how long they're going to last. So hopefully, although the Friends do help us keep up with the latest stuff, if we can, get some grant money from COVID funding to do a little bit more with our updates of the library, we really want to work towards that. Speaking of government funding, we always apply for a program called E-Rate. E-Rate's a program that helps us with our internet. It used to help with phone bill. Now it just helps out with the internet. Because of our rural, I'm cold, I'm shaking. Because of our rural status, we get a 70% discount on our internet prices if we qualify for this program. And we historically do. Today I got a letter that said we once again qualified. For that, we'll receive $1,763 towards our internet bill, which is basically our phone bill. That runs from July 1st to the end of June. So it's kind of offset. We're still getting payments from last year's grant that we got. I think you guys found in your thing that we're working on getting an AED device in our library. We found a grant program that we applied for. All it was a matter of just write down who we are and why we need it. And what we got back was a list of AED machines that they gave us a discount on. We chose what we feel was the best one. It started out as a $1,504 piece of equipment. They marked it down to $967.25. I had some money left over from last year's United Way COVID program, where I bought face masks for all of the kids. I called them and talked to them. Could I use the rest of that funding money for this AED equipment? And they said that would be great. So I have $548 left in that fund of a $2,000 grant. So they said we could apply that. And I asked the Friends of the Library if they could pick up the remaining approximately $420. And should you guys approve that, we can get an AED device at the library. The Plunge has offered to go in and help us do some training, the Plunge in the police department, for our staff to get training on that.
While you're talking about the AED.
Yes.
Have you talked to the police department? Is this the same brand that they use?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing they have.
Okay.
And I realized that this is just somebody selling certain AED devices, and I went and checked, and the one that they're selling really is a quality device.
I wasn't questioning so much the quality of it,
Yeah.
just as that if we're using the same brand throughout the city, then
Then I can walk into their
Expendables.
department and they can walk into mine and,
expendables, hopefully we could buy in
Yeah.
bulk and they would be less expensive.
yep.
Thank you.
I think I put on there what the price of a replacement battery was after 4 years. So, the state report, you guys all got a copy of the state report. There was, of course, after I printed it, there was one change I needed to go in to make, and I called the state library, and she sent me back a note on Friday that it had been taken care of, but you needed a copy of this on Thursday. So there's that. The only thing that has changed is in one section, I claimed that we have a branch library, and that's not accurate. It needed to go one paragraph up to the home-based library. It changed that section of numbers, but it did not change the selected key ratios, which you guys would find on that last page. And to review some of those, it really does show how COVID affected our library this year. One would be, let me find my number I'm looking for. Library visits per capita. Our capita is 3,500 and a couple people. That's what they consider our capita. The average statewide of visits per capita is 4.8. You can see in 2019, we were at 14. That means every person in our city visited the library 14 times. Except during COVID, it was only 6.8. So you can tell that we were closed down for four months out of the year. We didn't have people coming through our library. If you look at the next one though, per capita circulation for 2019 was 15.7. Everybody checked out approximately 15.7 items from our library. But even with COVID, we still checked out 11.2 items, and that was due to our curbside service that we kept going every day that we were closed. We still filled orders and got those out to people. And of course, public internet use went from 6.8 to 2.6. We're seeing our numbers at the library, our visitors build up every week. You know, one week it's 100, the next week it's 105, the next week it's 110, then it goes back to 100 again, and then it's 115. So we're slowly building up more people and our steady customers coming in. But we have noticed that they've gotten into a new habit of checking out more items at a time. They're leaving with more things in their arms, so they don't have to come to the library as often. The one thing that I really would like to point out is our electronic material checkout, our overdrive, our cyber library that we belong to, our consortium. In 2019, 14% of our items were checked out through that consortium. And during the COVID, it marched right up there to 23%. My numbers went from 400 a month checkouts to like 800 and 900 a month checkouts on our ebooks. So people were using the library even though they weren't walking in the building, and that reflects in our numbers. Next, I want to talk about our summer reading program. We are gearing up for it to be 100% open, just like it was in 2019. On that note, we had approximately 300 people involved, or 300 participants in our 2019 summer reading program. Last year, it was down to 125, but of course, we were right in the full-blown COVID restrictions. This year, we're planning on it being over 200. And we're planning on, the topic is Tales and Tales. We have this printed off that went out in the registration packets. It's going to be all about animal tales and people tales. We're planning on our usual June 1st, the 1st of June to the end of June, our 4-week program. We usually run 10 classes a week in our 4-week program. So we're looking at 44 classes of youngsters coming through our building on those days. We historically have Tuesday night as family night. This year, Marcus has some great entertainment lined up for us. We're having a magician come in. And he does his program specifically towards library, specifically towards the summer reading topic. We are going to have a movie on the green, which was our biggest hit last year. This year, we're going to show Milo and Otis because it is Tails and Tales. We're having a birdhouse built one of our Tuesday evenings. And I'm proud to say that Ace Hardware has donated 30 hammers and several boxes of nails towards this project. We're not quite sure what we're going to do with 30 hammers afterwards. We might send them home. They might go home and continue to use their hammers. And the last thing, we don't have this tight just yet, but Mammothite and Marcus and the summer reading program are talking about there being free access to the Mammothite on a certain night if you're involved in the summer reading program. And like I said, we don't have that tied down just yet, what that's going to look like, but we're looking that the Mammothite should let us in there for a few hours. We'll continue with our, we have a program for the Plunge. We have this incentive sheet. It has like 9 things on it. And if you do 6 of them, you get a free swim pass for the Plunge. That's always been a really big thing for the summer reading program. We give away about 30 or 40 of those. So, and the way you get that is do things that have to do with reading and paying attention to what's going on around you and reporting on it or writing a poem or singing a song or all kinds of fun stuff. Tonight, you're going to vote on a new employee at the library. It is a new employee, but it's an old position. It's a part-time position that we hired for a couple years ago. We find that it's very important, especially when we have 40 kids in a room to do story time. This is why we wanted the part-time person before, is to help our programmer deal with the crowds that they're coming in. We do know that we have a so many hour limit on this person, and we will certainly adhere to that. We have in the past. We do plan on bringing them in for 32 hours a week to help out with the summer reading program. So that's factored in. And this part-time person was also previously budgeted for when we wrote up our budget last year. So we hope that you will approve our part-time person. We're looking forward to bringing them on board. Does anybody have any questions? I really am just.
Cool.
Quite informative, though.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
Thank you. Oh, I was going to comment that I was looking at that wonderful screen in the lobby of places to go and things to do. And for the Chamber of Commerce and the and all the thing, I'm going to have to ask them to put a picture of the library on there because, we have that 24/7 internet out there that you can sit on the lawn and on a hot summer night and, people use that. So
Right.
thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Don? Don?
Yes.
I do have a question about the reading program partnering with the Mammoth site. You said you're still working on that. Do you have any sense of when you think that might happen? When you have an answer on that?
I think that's going to be on the, I have the calendar here. I think if it all sets up good, it's going to be on the evening of the 22nd. And I think what the evening of the 22nd of June, and I think that it's going to be, if you can show some kind of proof that you belong to the summer reading program,
Uh-huh.
they're going to let you come into the Mammoth site that evening.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
one thing I forgot, we had our poetry night and there's a new lady in town, one of our new patrons. She didn't give me permission to use her name, so I'm not going to share her name. But this is what she wrote for poetry night when she stood up to read at the library. This log cabin castle on Library Drive, a blessing that helps our community thrive. There's learning and growing in each little nook, computers, newspapers, and audiobooks. There's puppets, a treehouse, and stories for tots. There's row after row of good books with great plots. There's class after class for the old and the young. There's projects to make and songs to be sung. And don't forget movies outside on the lawn. Thanks Sydney, Marcus, David, and Dawn. You're helpful, resourceful, and quite a delight. A rhyme to your honor on Poetry Night. Oh, I know. So appreciated her. So whenever we do the scoop for the newspaper, I have one.
You've got material for your week?
I've got material for my week,
All right.
and I'll ask her if we can use her name or not.
Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Andrea. You're next.
Good evening, Mayor Bob, City Council.
Do you need that raised? for
You know, I'm sure I do, but I never really. An engineer, I'm not. Updates for the quarter. I think I told you a little bit about OpVets the last time I was here. That stands for Operation Veterans Enrichment Town. And it seeks to be an umbrella organization for services provided by the VA and the community. Currently, we're working through the 501c3 nonprofit status and also meeting with various representatives, federal and state. In early March, I had a visit from a site selector who was looking for locations for saltwater shrimp production. I took him to the old health clinic over in Edgemont, and he was pretty excited about it because the hot water over there would offset the costs of production. And it's also within a quarter mile of an airstrip, which they need to fly the shrimp in and out. This is an established company that's looking at expanding into the Midwest market. United Ranchers Co-op, I think I told you that they had acquired 11 acres that they're working on the deed for. And Hannah Sage and I visited about how they might utilize the local infrastructure program grant that's from GOED, and we needed maps of the area, and John was able to provide them for us. So he came to the meeting with the maps, and we looked at what's already on the site in terms of utilities and what's needed. The co-op hasn't determined what its maximum capacity for weekly production is going to be yet, so that will play into the infrastructure that they need. Oh, I forgot to say that last week, the CEO of the Saltwater Shrimp Company called me and has scheduled a time to come out and visit the county in mid-May. So, and he's looked at aerial satellite photos of the area, and he's pretty excited about it too. We're supposed to stay back there. Sorry, we were out walking. In addition to the meat production, Unified Ranchers Co-op, which will be located directly in front of the feedlot and on the eastern side of 79. John and I had a conversation with Hannah about the potential for a business park around the airport and how we might use that LLIP grant, utilize it for that process as well. The local infrastructure program grant is a 50% match up to $500,000. It pays for infrastructure for utilities, electricity, sewer to the property, not through the property. and would allow us also to apply to be a certified business site. The advantages of that, of having that certification, are that the GOED office does the recruiting for us, depending on what we would want in that business park. Currently, there are no site certified business parks West River. Bellefouche had one, but they're full now, so they don't need the services that come with being site certified. So we would be the only one where we'd go through with that. One of the requirements for the LIIP program is that you need a bird in hand, meaning that you need a committed occupant. And both Hannah Sage and also Steve Watson of IEG, a site selector from IEG, said that the precedents had been set if we were to share a utility with the meat processing plant, even though they're not directly on the business park, there's a good probability we could use them as our bird in hand. Any questions about that? Okay. Subsequently, Laura Frederick, who is the Senior Business Development Director for West River, contacted me. We got together and she would like to come down and take a look at how closely the railroad runs to the city-owned property at the airport. She's telling me that the, what's it called, Rapid City Pier in Eastern South Dakota Rail that comes out of Rapid City is extremely proactive about constructing access if they know that there will be a business park going in. So she just wants to come down and see how far away it is. They have a sighting in Oral and there's one in Oryx. Those are the only two I know about currently that are coming off that rail. Housing. Bob Quinn, who is developing, is it 6 or 8 lots?
8 lots.
Thank you. Adjacent to the airport, has also asked me to provide him with information about any other potential areas for development in the city. So that's probably something we should probably sit down and discuss pretty quickly. I was able to provide him with one that I'm aware of, but I think Don mentioned to me a couple more that are out there that I don't know very much about. Western Dakota Task Force is going to be meeting on the 23rd with the school district around their construction of a new industrial arts complex to house a satellite campus here in Hot Springs. The GOED conference is on the 27th through the 29th in Sioux Falls, and I would like for everyone to pray that I don't get snowed in there for the 3rd year in a row. And lastly, our banquet is on May 1, where there will be folks talking about all of these projects I just mentioned to you in greater detail. Dennis Fisher, the superintendent of Hot Springs, will be there to talk about the satellite campus, and new businesses will be discussing what they're doing, what they have done, what they'd like to do in the near future. And it should be a good time. So far, Larry's RSVP'd. Thank you very much. And I hope that I see you all there. Any questions at all?
The housing that Bob Quinn is looking at, has he said when he hopes to have those up and livable?
Not to me, no. Anything else?
Is he looking for large tracts or is he willing to do these spots we have all around town?
You know, I haven't asked him that. The areas that have been shared with me or that I already know about are larger. But if I had a listing of them, I'd be happy to give him all of them and, you know, maps, overhead maps of them, I'm sure would be helpful.
And is there a timeline or as far as the meatpacking plant is going?
I attended their board meeting a couple of Saturdays ago, and one of the requirements for transfer of the deed, some cattle producers are exchanging them land for a share in the meat processing plant. And they would like to have a clause that says there will be a permanent structure on that property within X amount of time. So the folks who currently own the property are setting that stipulation.
You said the railroad company is proactive in their, so that, are they looking at upgrading the sites they have now? Are they looking for another, would they look for another site? I'm assuming that a lot of that meat would be processed for transport, right?
I can't tell you that. You would have to ask them.
Okay.
And again, that's all determined by what their end capacity is.
Yes.
End, END capacity. Yeah, yeah. They will have the capacity to ship out of state because they'll meet with USDA requirements for daily water testing.
Yep.
Yeah. But the rail wouldn't specifically serve that. It would be most likely to a projected business park.
Yes.
So they could access it, but it would be for larger purposes.
How many acres are preferable for this park?
That would be a question John could field.
The south half of Zone B at the airport is 168 acres.
Very good. Very good.
Anything else? Misty, I'll get you my notes and a readable tomorrow.
Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Andrew.
much. Good work.
Caitlin, how are you doing? Do you have any questions for Andrea?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, that takes us to personnel. Can I get a motion to approve personnel actions A through E?
Make a motion to approve personnel actions A through E.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes,
Thank you.
Motion passes. Need a motion on resolution 2021-7.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2021-7, a resolution to add a daycare supplement annual fee to the citywide fee resolution.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
yes,
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item A, a possible motion discussion to approve and accept 2020 South Dakota Public Library Survey.
I make a motion to approve, accept 2020 South Dakota Public Library Survey.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
yes,
The motion passes. New business item B, possible motion discussion to authorize the library director, Don Johnson, to accept the AED grant.
I'll make a motion to accept, to authorize the library director, Don Johnson, to accept the AED grant for $536.75 to assist in the purchase of a Philip Heart Start on-site defibrillator for the Hot Springs Public Library.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
yes,
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item C, possible motion discussion to renew the city school facility use agreements.
Make a motion to approve, to renew an option of 1 year, the city school facility use agreement effective May 1, 2021.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, did the school, did they have any kind of problems with this, or did they like everything they saw, or does?
Yes,
anybody know?
the superintendent agreed and they'll be on the next agenda.
Okay,
Any other questions? Roll call?
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. New business item D, possible motion discussion to approve Heiner's landscaping.
Make a motion to approve Heiner's landscaping proposal for $49,900 in response to the RFP 2021-4 Fall River Canal Restoration Landscape Phase 1 project, and to approve the authorization of mayor to sign the contract agreement.
Second.
Discussion?
I had a citizen have some concerns about what was done to the wildlife during the whole thing, but also concerned about the choice of the grasses that are going to be planted, how we came about choosing those. She's done some research on riparian grasses and restoration, and was told that these two grasses aren't the best grasses to choose. And she showed me some pictures. The pictures were kind of more of a wildland type look. My only guess was that we're looking more for a park-like setting. And it's my understanding these are very drought resistant.
These are the hardiest, most drought resistant, maintainable grasses recommended by the Agricultural and Soil Conservation Office.
Okay.
And yes, to your question about the look, want it to be more of a park than a wetland in a sense.
Yeah.
Want to encourage people to get down in there and run around and take their shoes off and play in it and get in the water.
I just have a little problem with giving this guy a bid for doing this landscaping when he backed out on this other bid. I guess is this the bid that the Public Works chose? I mean, you think this is the best?
It's the only bid we got.
It's the only bid we have.
This is the guy that did the first part of the whole thing, and I think he did a wonderful job.
You
He
did.
backed out of something that's totally different type of job than what this one is. This was landscaping.
I
The
know
other one
what
was
the
tearing down a
difference is.
building.
I know, I'm fully aware.
Yeah, so, but I thought he did a wonderful job in the first phase of it.
I agree.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes,
No,
Huddleston.
Yep.
Johnston.
Yes,
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item E, possible motion discussion to approve DNL lawn sprinklers.
I make a motion to approve DNL lawn sprinklers proposal for $5,610 in response to the RFP 2021-3 Brookside Park sprinkler system installation.
Second.
Discussion?
well, the Parks Committee looked at the bids. This was the most responsible bid. They were kind of scattered. There was one for about double this and there was one for about 4 times this. So we felt this was probably the best bid we're going to get with the money. So
Any other questions? Roll call?
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes,
abstain.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
yes,
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner. Thank you.
The motion passes. New business item F, Possible motion discussion to approve and publish 2 times the notice to bidders for the Butler Park softball field fence.
Make a motion to approve and publish 2 times the notice to bidders for the Butler Park softball fence replacement project RFP 2021-5.
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question. I know they're talking about replacing number 1 field that's over by the tennis court. There was also discussion amongst the players that are using that to have it lengthened. Is that a part of the proposal for this fence for redesign and length of the field? I know when the men play softball there, it's going out all the time. So they were trying to bring that field back so that they're not always hitting them out on the road and the traffic that's out there. So I don't know if this proposal included lengthening the field or not.
We did talk about doing dirt work and bringing it back a little bit. We can't go back too far. You gotta stay away from the road some.
It's at the 250-foot mark. That's as far as we can go without a major landscaping job back there and moving a road.
Thank you, John.
For those who are parking it outside the fence, tell them to hit from the other side of the plate.
Need a bigger bat.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes,
Thank you.
The motion passes. New business item G, possible motion discussion to schedule a public hearing on May 3rd, 2021.
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing on May 3rd, 2021 at 7:10 PM to accept public comments on the proposed City of Hot Springs comprehensive plan, which is available for public inspection at City Hall.
Seconds.
Discussion. Roll call.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
yes,
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item H, a possible motion discussion to schedule a special meeting for 4/22/21.
I would make a motion to schedule a special meeting for 4/22/21 at 5 PM in order to have a public hearing for temporary alcoholic beverage license application from the Mammoth site.
Second.
Discussion. So for the public, that will be this Thursday. So it's a special meeting outside of our normal rotation, just to address this one agenda item.
And I would note, council members won't be receiving any monetary reward for this.
Yes.
It's kind of a benefit for the Mammoth site, help them out.
That will be the first agenda item, is to make a motion. How you want to handle that? Any other comments? Roll call.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
yes,
Bless you.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Salute.
The motion passes. New business item I, a possible motion discussion to schedule a public hearing.
We just.
Mm-mm.
No.
They're having two nights. That's
no.
2
On
nights.
4/22.
You're scheduling the meeting and then you're scheduling the public hearing.
Okay.
You want me to read that one too? I'd
Yes.
make a motion to discuss and to schedule a public hearing on 4/22/21 at 5 PM to act on the temporary alcoholic beverage license application from the Mammoth site for their Secrets of the Sinkhole Murder Mystery Night event scheduled for 6 PM, 4/23/21 at the Mammoth site, 1800 US Highway 18 bypass.
Second.
Motion.
Discussion. Roll call.
Burris.
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
yes,
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item J, a possible motion discussion to approve Mueller Civic Center vending service contract.
I make a motion to approve MCC vending services contract with Scott Shannon.
Second.
Discussion. This will be a new vendor, different from the one we've had over the past number of years. Roll call.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item K, a possible motion discussion to approve advertisement of the draft DBE program.
Make a motion to approve the advertisement of the draft DBE program for public comment and approve the mayor to sign the finalized DBE program at the end of the advertisement period with applicable comments incorporated.
Second.
Discussion. So when I was talking with Misty about this today, it's quite a huge document. And my understanding is that the city is establishing a disadvantaged business enterprise program. And the effect of that is to have an equal opportunity to receive for disadvantaged business enterprises, to have an equal opportunity to receive and participate in Department of Transportation assisted contracts. That's at the heart of it. There's just an awful lot of what we need to do as a city to comply with that. Any questions? Roll call.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
The motion passes. New business item L, possible motion discussion to approve an automatic budget supplement.
Make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $3,342.24 to the additional sales tax fund 212-21200-42200 for preliminary design engineering for airport multi-unit T-hanger project. Reimbursement revenue received from AIP grant funding number 3-46-0022-013-2020.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. New business item M, a possible motion discussion to approve travel training request.
I make a motion to approve travel training request for Assistant Finance Officer Karen Bingley and Administrative Assistant Carrie Pyle to attend the 2021 South Dakota Municipal League South Dakota Governmental Finance Officer School in Pierce, South Dakota on 6/9/21 to 6/11/21.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Burris,
Yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Huddleston.
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Takes us to our committee reports. First one, Administrative and Finance. Caitlin.
Our next meeting is May 3rd at 1 o'clock at City Hall.
Thank you. Airport Advisory. Bill.
The next Airport Advisory Committee meeting, it's a change from our normal date. It will be Monday, the 3rd of May, 8 a.m. at the airport. And the reason for that change is later on in the morning, I think at 10 or 10:30, we'll be opening up the bids for the construction of the multi-unit T-hanger. The bid openings is at 10 or 10:30.
10:30, I believe. We're
10:30.
accepting bids until 10.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management. Larry.
Next meeting will be May 13, 7 p.m. at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Historic Preservation. Deborah.
Next meeting is May 5th at the Mueller Center at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Evans Plunge Advisory. Larry.
Devon's Plunge Advisory Committee meeting was April 8th, 2021 at 12 p.m. Committee members were Chris Hansen, Kathy Fran, Cody Karras, Tom Naz, Allison Ritterbush, Mary Smith, and myself. Troy Lurs was excused. Sandy Ferguson was absent. Wally Cockrell present, representing his motel and the bid board. Public comments from Wally Cockrell. Wally went to the admin finance meeting and requested 50% off EPMS admission for folks who stayed in Hot Springs at a local hotellery. He did the math with the FO and she followed it. The bid board is doing an app of local discounts and tours and would like to include this. EPAC will discuss this further and get back to Wally. Our concerns are how many individuals there will be for the 50% off, or will we limit it to 4 and a family, and what our capacity limits will be this summer. If we are still at 175 for capacity, it will be a revenue loss for us to undertake an agreement of this nature. And as an update on staffing, Cody is heading to Sioux Falls this weekend for his LGI training, and our contract for classes Bowden, Malachi were approved on Tuesday night as well. We will be well equipped to train lifeguards if we only had them to train. We have 2 applicants that are working on their swimming tryout practice. We are losing our adult evening lifeguard on 4/16, so we are in very real danger of needing to limit our hours or days of operation even further. We will maintain our Tuesday closures through May to see how our staffing moves. We will plan to attend admin finance in May to show a compilation of local wages for seasonal part-time jobs in the area to show wages are lacking here, and which may be part of the problem for hiring, and to ask for guidance and going with summer operations. There was an update on health club renovation. Tom gave a quick rundown on where we are with our health club renovation. We will be moving towards staining the tubs, surrounds, tiling the top of the surrounds, and doing the ceilings. John still needs to seal the grout as well. It is looking great. We will need guidance on opening the steam room and sauna as well, since those are more enclosed environments for social distancing. Our original plan of family groups of 1 or 2 individuals in the hot tubs are for a designated period of time should still work, but we do not have staff to monitor that area. Next meeting will be May 13th, 2021, noon at the Evans Plunge.
Any questions for Larry?
I didn't finish the meeting, John. So what time did they adjourn?
We ended at 1:15.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions for Larry? Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Cultural Development. Wes?
Yeah, we had a meeting. First item, we did the bid opening for the Brookside Park sprinkler system, which we awarded tonight. Hopefully our guys can get what we got to get done before our sprinkler guy. Lori wasn't able to attend. I guess she was out showing a couple plots. I guess that's a good thing. That's a necessary thing anyway. We did learn that she did get a grant for some trees, $1,000 worth of trees, I believe it was. John, is that right? $1,000?
That's correct.
So that's kind of nice. Fence up there in between the Simon's Gravel Quarry and the cemetery. The fence is kind of getting in bad shape, and I guess DNR kind of says they think that Simon should pay for that. I guess, I don't know.
Their position is there's supposed to be a fence separating their property as part of a mining operation from the public.
Okay. On the recreation side of things, Catherine said she is coming out of the winter venues into the spring events. She's kind of excited, I guess. She's going to have 4 hydrant parties this year. I believe, I guess we'll talk about that here in a minute. Mueller Center, the Butler Park, the bleach repair is still ongoing. I know we got a couple of those left. John said they're getting awful close to having them, or they'll pass all their whatever requirements. Stock Park, still an ongoing thing when they get time. The snow has kind of hampered the efforts of some of their endeavors. Centennial Park, Fall River Channel work. We just awarded a bid tonight for finishing up the rest of that. Brookside Park, we still got some trees we're gonna have to trim down there in the river. They're pretty low hanging, kind of a snag and hazard. And School Street Park, still an ongoing situation when the weather gets better, I guess. Mueller Center, we learned that we're gonna be replacing the skylight in about June, I believe, third week of June. And seems kind of expensive, but I guess people like that skylight. It's gonna have a 20-year warranty when they're done. We learned tonight, we got this, the new venting contract with Scott Shannon. We're pursuing buying a commercial stove for the Mueller Center here. Kathy's really excited about that because I believe she's going to incorporate maybe some cooking classes or something, I believe, into her recreation deal. A lot of people seem excited about that. This Connex box, which is basically a container. We're kind of still working it out with the school on some money. I talked to somebody from the school on that actual committee, and I guess we're gonna have to talk at our next meeting and see if we can get it kind of hammered out for the actual dollar amounts. And the depot, we gotta do an assessment on the HVAC and the light and the water, and I guess talk to the chamber and see if they're proposing to staff it this year or not. I think that was about it. You got anything else to think, John?
I think you covered it all, Wes.
Our next meeting will be the first Wednesday in May at 3 p.m. at the Mueller Center. You're all welcome.
Any questions for Wes? Thank you, Wes. Planning and zoning, JR.
Next planning and zoning meeting is the 21st. That's this Wednesday at 7 p.m. here at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Public safety, Bill, JR.
Public safety will meet this Wednesday, the 21st, 1 p.m. here at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Public Works, Dave, Craig.
Craig will be doing it this week.
President of Public Works is Paul Stanley, Isaac Reeson, Rodney Watts, Deborah Johnston, Bob Nelson, Bob Priya, John Gregory, myself, Tracy Bastian, and Dave Burris. We talked about septic systems versus sewer line extensions in the city limits. Martin Street, there's a lot of new homes and houses that there's a lot of lots and people want to start building out there. One person's already building. And we're trying to discuss whether or not we want septics or sewer. Public Works is leaning towards the sewer system. We'll be talking more about that at the next Public Works. We already talked about the Far River Canal. We accepted a bid on that. Wastewater plant repairs the digester lid. Tracy's checking on that, on prices. I think he's got, did we have any bids on that yet, or?
The bid notice is out publicly. We did receive 3 quotes prior to the bid notice going out, but to do it officially, they have the opportunity to reevaluate their bids.
Thank you, John. We also talked about some pavement cracking at the back 9, Fern Circle. We'll be talking more about that, but probably it'll get repaired in August when they open up the batch plant where we can get asphalt and repair a lot of streets in town. DNR annual restricted landfill inspection passed. The loader tire replacement was necessary. It was very expensive, but necessary. The wastewater treatment plant operator resigned, and replacement listing for applicants. 2 of them we're looking for, because the other gentleman that works there he's thinking of retiring. Sewer flow meters, we're trying to replace 2 of them. We're still doing a little bit of looking into which ones are the best ones to use. And there are ones for the, comes out of the VA and the other one comes out of the state home. Update on the vehicles and trailers obstructing snowplow. We still have a lot of problems with that. It's other things that we'll have to start discussing more by if we continue getting a lot of snowstorms. Nuisance property. We went over a lot of discussions with those and building permit increasing discussion. City mobile vendor use. We got the area all set up, electric, water. We're looking to put out, try to get people to come rent spaces. We got 4 spaces available. One's already taken up by Red Rocks. Red Rocks?
The red shed.
Red Shed. Additional rockfall areas. We've been looking at different ones at Colebrook and stuff. And then we talked about the icy spot public by the Vision Source business on Albany Avenue. We need to do something with that eventually. That's all we have. Our next meeting's April 27th at 1 PM at the Mueller Center. Everybody's welcome.
Any questions for Craig and Dave?
I got a quick one. I had a constituent call me today with an animal. So where are we recommending people take
He called me too.
animals? Because we no longer have a
Animal pit.
animal pit. So we tell them to take the Edgemont or
I don't know if Edgemont takes them. Do you know,
find a
Larry?
mountain lion or
Yes, Edgemont will take them. We do not take
Yeah,
wildlife anymore.
Edgemont will be the closest place, I'm guessing.
okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, gentlemen. Southern Hills Economic Development, JR.
Well, to add on to what Andrea said, John and I attended a Field of Growth Forging Ahead in 2021 through economic development at Black Hills State College in Rapid City. Some of the topics that were discussed were evidence-based market research, strategy consulting, fundamentals of economic development, types of business industries, with target industries and concept of primary industries, economic development reimagine, site selection process, which would include operating costs, operating conditions, quality of life. Drivers to expanding would be access to talent, access to market and cost. Get to root causes such as housing availability, affordability, broadband, childcare, transportation. Those are some of the things that were discussed. As far as this being one of my first seminars or conferences, a short conference I've had with economic development, I thought it was very well presented. Really enjoyed the time there, and hopefully we took enough away from this to be able to help our economic development here in Hot Springs. Anything, John?
Our next meeting is May 1st at the dinner to hear all her speakers coming out.
Thanks, sir.
Any questions for JR? Thank you. Next one is Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee. We met on April 12th, 5 o'clock at City Hall. We talked for about an hour and a half, but we had a single topic that we were discussing. Kathy Jersa, this is her last year. Kathy takes care of the pro shop. So there's been some discussion. Is her retirement the right time to look at the city managing the pro shop differently? There's been some requests to expand the food offerings that the pro shop has and possibly look at a liquor license for the pro shop. Both of those can end up being in a very lengthy discussion. What is the right way to do that? The pro shop itself really wasn't originally designed to be a scaled down restaurant. It was designed as a starter shack in a sense, where people would come in and get ready to play their rounds of golf and have some merchandise available and some small packaged food. So we're looking at, is that the right direction to go, to separate the pro shop from the golf and turn the pro shop into more of again, a scaled down eatery with some liquor available. And both of those bring their own complications with them. So we're going to slow walk that and try to figure out what the right thing to do is. I've asked the folks on the committee that if they feel very strongly this is the right thing to do, they're going to need to take it and run with it. The city doesn't have the staff to look into this kind of project and make sense of it. We'll see what their interest is in actually doing it. And I'll keep you updated. Oh, that takes us to Misty. Unless you have any questions for me.
Can we ask you a question?
Yes.
The liquor license, would they have to, I know it's probably a stupid question, but would they have to purchase a liquor license?
Golf course, the state allows them a special liquor license. It's not like the one that we would sell.
Okay.
So they get their own liquor license. The municipality does. Absolutely. If it was going to grow, if the desire is to grow it that big, I don't see the city having the staffing available to do that. If we're going to increase our employees, we've got other places that need it more than offering a restaurant, nor do I think that the city should be in competition with the folks downtown trying to sell those kinds of things. So yes, it would be a contracted out. Again, the risk in doing that is if the city separates ourselves from doing that, thinking it's going to work and it doesn't work, and then the next year we need to pick up and carry on with that. How do we manage all of that? So I'm open to having discussions. I don't want to rush into this one. Any other questions? All right, Misty.
Thank you. Thank you, council, for approving our new admin assistant to go to the SDML Finance Officer School with our Assistant Finance Officer, Karen. We've been working on orientating our new hire in the finance office. It's a trial by fire there. You never know what's going to walk in the door. We got her hooked up with a phone by the second day and asked her to start answering it. And that's the best way to learn, is just jump in and start helping people. The SDML Finance Officer School is a great opportunity for her to meet others in this industry. The breakout sessions are very valuable, and I appreciate the opportunity for her to go. I'd like to mention the staffing challenges that we're having, not just citywide, not just countywide, not just statewide, but nationwide. There are employers that are offering hiring bonuses that have significantly increased the hourly wages offered, and they are still struggling to find people to fill the positions. The city is no different. We're unfortunately not excluded from that. And our community has felt it in all of the small businesses. It's very prevalent. And I'm not sure how we're going to fix it until the unemployment bonus goes away. And it's no longer more lucrative to stay home than work. We also are working on finishing up the annual report in the finance office. The capital assets are pretty much finished, but we're still working on ensuring we're correctly recording the transfers of property between the water department and the sewer department and the streets department. If you remember, an 03 Ford F-250 was transferred from the water department to the streets department, and a semi truck was transferred from the sewer department to the streets department. We also want to make sure that we correctly record the loss on the stolen golf carts. By Wednesday, I'll have the entries for our GASB 68 or net pension income or asset. Election preparations have begun. I'm working on notices. I'll be visiting on Wednesday with the business manager at the school. We are combining elections with the school. We plan to combine our election boards and our counting boards. We're looking at hand counting paper ballots to save costs. And council laptops have been handed out. So we're looking forward to starting to see laptops on the table and distributing all this paper and council packets that way going forward. We'll still have paper, we'll still share it if you need it, but we're looking forward to getting used to using that new technology. Thank you.
Any questions for Misty?
Did you hear that, Robert?
Thank you, Misty. John?
Good evening, everyone. It's been busy. Begin with ISG and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We met a couple of times on Zoom calls. We had some additional evaluation of materials and structural conditions of the existing retaining wall. The study was performed last week by American Engineering Testing, and Albertson Engineering participated as well and did a ground penetrating radar survey of the wall and inspected the structural condition. That report should be coming out at the end of this week and forwarded to the Corps of Engineers. Had a couple of discussions with the DOT and a meeting at Menacata Bridge to discuss the replacement project of that bridge, determined the superstructure type we're going to go with. It's going to be the same as Jennings Bridge. It's going to mirror that with a beam and deck and sidewalk with the similar railings. That bridge has some unique utilities requirements. We have an existing sewer and water main that must remain active that pass under that bridge. So that'll be an interesting navigation of utilities going around that to keep that active at all times. Another issue will be the contractor staging area, detours, and continued access to the hotel at all times. DOT and Bros are getting ready to get Jennings Bridge moving again. Dietzler is scheduled to return Wednesday of this week. They're going to finish the underside work that they didn't finish last year, then immediately move on to curb and gutter, and then paving both sides of the approaches and install bridge end delineators. It's been somewhat disconcerting to make that corner and see that guardrail all of a sudden. So there will be a bridge end now. We received a revised drawing for the Dollar General North layout. Their new drawing requires the use of over 50% of our city's undeveloped Battle Mountain right-of-way. We've asked them to consider installing us a roadway to the east to the other properties that are undeveloped, and we have not received a response from them if they're willing to do that. Our streets, utilities, and maintenance and parks department was really busy. We had all hands on deck for that big snow event last week, last council meeting, and several days of snow removal. Fortunately, the temperatures warmed up quickly. They completed their additional work on the Fall River Channel before the landscape contract begins. Our utilities department has been worked on a sewer backup at Menacata and Outlook. They did the field data collection for the Martin Street sewer extension options. At the wastewater treatment plant, we have drained down the secondary clarifier for inspection of the existing sweep to see if there's any components that we can reuse or if we have to replace the whole thing. We had a change in the wastewater management operations. Our operator has resigned. Our new guy has really stepped up and has a big interest in keeping that program going. He's getting his certifications as soon as possible, but we will be advertising for a replacement class 3 operator if we can find one, and also an entry-level operator to assist with water and sewer department. There's been a lot of activity with the economic development with Shedco and GOED. We have a potential for a light industrial park and infrastructure improvements around the airport. That would include a good site evaluation because there are not industrial park areas available on West River. It would be an exciting opportunity for the city of Hot Springs to increase our opportunities, the economic development business side. Our other big items, we've got this big push to get the comprehensive plan done. It's been on my desk since I was hired. I think it started in 2016. Hopeful that it'll be in front of council the 1st of May. It has a public hearing with planning and zoning on Wednesday. Thank you for approving the RFP for the softball field. We'll hopefully get that underway and make a decision by our next Parks and Rec meeting. We've begun a list of the summer 2021 pavement maintenance repairs. We've got a pretty big list started already, and we'll have to do what we can within our budget limits. Summer Rec is in full swing. It's in sign-up mode. If you check the website, Kathy's got activities planned all this week to get people registered for baseball and other events. As Don mentioned, our library has a lot of spring events planned. Interesting is April 29th and 30th, the Fall River Conservation District has a Plant a Tree event at the library so the kids can learn to plant a tree and take it home with them. That's what I've got this week. Thank you.
Any questions for John? Thank you, John. On April 12th, the city received a letter from the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources regarding their March 31st, 2021 inspection of the city's restricted use site, our former MRF. Based on that inspection, the city is operating in a good compliance manner. Will Vogel with the State Waste Management Program summarized his report by saying, quote, "I would like to thank John Gregory and Lori Sherrard for their assistance during this inspection. Overall, the facility's condition is good. There's 4 ratings that the city can attain, and good is the best of the 4. So we're doing great. Thank you for your efforts to maintain compliance of the facility and for promptly addressing the amendment request this past year." End quote. I want to thank the city maintenance staff for their efforts to maintain the site and ensure the city meets the requirements of the state DENR. Council laptops are now ready for use, and many of you have picked up your laptop. I'd like you to use the next several months to become comfortable with the use of the laptops. There may be growing pains, but nothing we can't work through. The intent behind the purchase of the laptops was to allow remote council meetings if necessary, reduce the time and expense necessary to prepare the council packets, and provide you with timely changes to documents that need your review. As you become comfortable with your laptop, if you're ready to retrieve your packet online, let the finance office know so they can stop preparing a hard copy for your packet. When the new council is in place in July, the council packets will only be available online. Any questions?
That's not what Misty said.
I'll take the heat. All right, if there's nothing else.
Who's putting on the computer class?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
I'm sorry, did I get Grimes for the second?
Burris, I believe.
Sorry. Burris,
Yes.
Grimes, Huddleston, Johnston, Lukens.
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Romy.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Have a good evening.
You too, thank you.
How you doing?
We're just trying to go fast.
Leaving
to be
us?
efficient.
You got in your